We're going to talk now about some of the things that can get in the way of us being good listeners. It may be we didn't have a model growing up or never experienced being listened to ourselves. Or it may be we were regularly ignored or criticised and put down, so we instinctively jump into justifying or defending ourselves. And it's become a habit.
And most of us have got into some bad listening habits for a variety of reasons. And often these habits have become an automatic response and we're not even aware of them. The trouble is, they can stop us communicating and connecting effectively with each other at a deep level.
So, we want to look at 5 bad listening habits. And it's worth recognising that most of us will fall into at least one of these.
And well, some of us fall into a lot more. That's me. I have to be working on at least 3 most of the time.
So, the first bad listening habit is disengaging. Sometimes we disengage from what our partner is saying because there's a separate conversation going on in our heads which distracts us. Maybe that's because what they're saying triggers a memory of our own, and as we recall this memory, we can become distracted and stop listening to what's being said.
I remember a conversation I was having with Nikki about our daughter Kirsty when she was expecting her first baby, and she and her husband had to move house before the baby was going to be born. And Nikki was suggesting that we went to help them move and how long were we going to be there. And I suddenly realised I hadn't heard a thing he was saying because I've gone off into this world all of my own. And I was thinking about when I was pregnant with Kirsty and we had to do exactly the same. We had to move house too. So my own vivid memories that came flooding back had stopped me hearing what he was saying. And I had to ask him to tell me what he wanted to discuss all over again.
So it may be a memory like that which causes us to disengage, or it may be our physical environment. For example, if one of you is sitting in front of the computer and your partner comes into the room to talk to you, it can be very difficult to concentrate on what they're saying. For others of us, if we're in a room with the TV on, we're constantly distracted by what's on the screen. And with the streaming of information today, we're very used to filtering out what we think is interesting from what is not. So we may find ourselves disengaging through a lack of interest in what may be important to our partner.
And it takes generosity to listen to and be interested in each other's world, especially if we're involved in quite different activities or jobs.
But deciding to show interest will positively affect the way we listen. And this can be as simple as asking a question. Some of the best marriage advice we've heard was ask questions, ask questions, ask questions.
The second bad habit is reassuring. For example, we're talking to our husband or wife about something we're finding difficult, and a reassurer will come in with something like, "Oh, don't worry, you'll be fine. What you really need is a good night's sleep." Or, "It's not that bad, really, compared with what happened to Tom." And often the reassurer wants to be cheerful and positive about everything.
But when we do this, it doesn't allow our partner to express any kind of disappointment, hurt, worry, sadness, or any other negative feelings. And that can have the effect of shutting them down. Now, reassuring is definitely my worst listening habit. I want to keep everything calm. I want to cheer the other person up. But I've come to realize it doesn't help our marriage or our children if I don't let other people voice any negative emotions.
The third bad habit is giving advice. An advice giver always wants to give a solution to the problem. But the trouble is that the speaker, more often than not, just wants to be heard and understood, not fixed.
The fourth bad habit is going off on a tangent. You're telling someone about something that happened to you, but before you get to the best bit, they say, "Oh, that's just like what happened to me last week." Or, "Oh, that reminds me of when I was 19 and went away travelling." And away they go on their own agenda. And you never get the chance to finish your story. They've totally hijacked the conversation.
And the fifth and probably most common bad habit is interrupting. If you're talking to an interrupter, you can't afford to draw breath or pause to think.
Yeah, totally.
If you do, they're in there and you've lost your chance.
One man we know who admits he's a serial interrupter said to us, "I thought other people's conversation was something to be endured until I could start talking again."
So in conclusion, all 5 of these habits prevent the speaker from saying what they're feeling. And if that goes on happening, the speaker then starts to shut down and give up and say to themselves, what's the point of trying to communicate? So it's worth asking ourselves, do I have one or more of these bad habits?